One. What's up and welcome back to Pro Pels Talk, presented to you by Boot Crew Media and Company Burger, the best burger located at 4600 Ferret Street. We got playoff basketball. Before we get into playoff basketball, DraftKings, use promo code BOOT, bet $5. New users, new customers, bet $5 on any team to win their game, and you win $150 in free bets. When they win, you win at DraftKings Sportsbook app. Make sure you're 21 years or older. In a state that has it, joined by Chaz, Lido, and 5 on a Saturday night, 10 p.m. Chaz, is this your Pro Pels Talk debut? Is this your debut?
I think that's my second time on.
Second time. Okay, cool. Yeah. So second time or so. 5, Lido, we're going to get right into it. Before we got on, we talked about, I don't necessarily want to talk about the game last night, but I want to talk about things that did happen in the game, right? And so I want to start with 5. We'll go Chaz and Lido. The Willie Green speech, I think, needs to be talked about because you see Willie Green. He's said all the right things. He's been very even keel, right? Never too high, never too low. 5, when you saw him, like, you got to fight. And of course, he's saying freaking, which is like, I wish he would just drop an F-bomb. Like, you got to fucking fight. But he drops the freaking fight. I mean, but still, that gives you chills, huh?
I mean, even in a press game, the post-game presser, yeah, he had a God is dope shirt. I expected him not to curse. Like I expected at this point.
Right.
But, when I heard it live, I had to tell my son, check up. Like, I gave him the basketball. Like, check up. Like, we about to go at it, bro. Like, we got to do this right now. Like, and we get on Willie for different things. Pause. We talk about Willie in different elements of coaching. But, like, that stuff is, like, irreplaceable. That's something you can't teach. You can't rehearse that. You can't – it's natural. And you feel it through the TV. I don't even know if that's a little iffy. But, like, you can understand, like, hey, this guy's ability to galvanize a group is top tier in the league at this point. Like,
yeah.
For this team to 1-12, 3-16 – to continually grow, you got to give the man credit. We'll talk about the other stuff later, but just the ability to galvanize a group, that's top tier, bro.
Go ahead, Chaz.
Sometimes they say, like, hard work will take you places where talent won't. And that's not to say that coach isn't talented. I'm not saying that whatsoever, but just the fact that he's able to inspire the squad like that, that's 60-70% of the job right there.
Yeah.
Yep. Like, we saw, and not to throw SVG under the bus, but we saw guys, more or less kind of check out with him. But to keep these dudes positive, and because they could have threw in the towel with their body language, everything, it wasn't looking good. It was not looking good. And it's funny because we actually saw that speech a little bit after they began their run. I think they kind of showed it after the run had began already. So we kind of saw something different was happening because we saw a different BI. We saw BI get way more aggressive, and we saw him just take over. Go ahead, Justin.
No, I'm sorry. No, go ahead. Finish your thoughts. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was saying, like, that night could have gone. I came in to the postseason because I consider playing the postseason. I came into the postseason saying, you've already won. There's nothing you can do to disappoint me at this point. But the fact that this was such a winnable game and the third quarter went the way it went, you could have possibly lost a lot of enthusiasm with the fan base had you lost that game. And coach didn't allow it to happen, so big credit to him.
Yeah, and we're going to get into that third quarter, Chaz, in a second. But Lido, I wanted to pitch to you because we've seen Willie Green. We've seen the pressers, the pre-games. Like, what did that make you feel when you saw that dude, like, oh, shit, Willie's got this in him? Because we've kind of heard about it, right? But, like, we've never really seen that, like, challenging somebody. And I really want to know who he was actually looking at when he said, you got to fight, you got to fight. Lido, I mean, that's huge. For a rookie head coach, that shit's legendary, man.
Willie Green with his remember the Titans speech in his first playoff game. I mean, come on, man. It don't get – listen, let's go down the list. Willie Green, great coach, elite Christian, he has a goddess dope shirt. I mean, he's a rookie head coach heading to the playoffs. Like, you know, as we said a million times, guys will run through a wall for him. They believe. He just fucking makes you believe. It's a genuine feeling that I don't think you could really recreate off no fake shit. Like, you would be able to feel it. Like, Chaz, not to throw anybody under the bus as far as like other coaches or older coaches, but like, man, the guys bought in. And man, yeah, like the third quarter was rough, but you know, credit to Willie for figuring that shit out too.
Yeah, and let's talk about the third quarter because Tony Snell hadn't played in a month, right? And I don't know where this, like, you know, it was either I'm thinking, all right, let's take this time out. I remember tweeting this, like, take the time out. Let's just put Trey and Nance in, and like, let's just go from there. And then he went Najee and Nance. I'm like, all right, like, I kind of get it. Like, that's fine. We'll go Najee. I mean, he's a good defender. He's kind of big, whatever. He has a nice drive, gets fouled, misses 2 free throws, then it almost breaks the backboard on the next possession with that 3. And that's when I was like, you got to get him out. And I thought this was like, no doubt, Trey's coming in and fucking Tony 5 break 5. I'm pitching it to you. What did you think when Tony Snell hit the side of the corner of the backboard 15 seconds into his
man? Look, I gotta give credit to Tony Snell, bro. I gotta give credit to Tony Snell. That's what I'm gonna do right here. Tony Snell hasn't played in a month. The first time he touched the rock, he put it up. You know how gangster that is?
Shoot a shoe, 5.
You know how gangster that is? You know how savage that is to have that onus about yourself to be like, as soon as I get in here, it's up. Yo, in this environment, the fact that the Clippers were searching out Tony Snell, they were hunting Tony Snell. Like, they know he hasn't played in a month. Reggie, you know, I call him Reggie Black. You know what I'm saying? Reggie Black got in the game when he saw Tony. He was like, "Oh, they brought another one of our people in here. This is black on black crime. Yeah. What are we doing?"
Yeah.
So, but yeah, no,
it was crazy.
This is my other notion to this. Willie empowers his coaching staff. He does a really good job of allowing them to be them. Last night, all throughout the season, he's probably given them all the credit for positive things they've done, right. And he's always taken the blame for what they collectively have done.
Yeah,
like he's never said anything bad about him. When were they gonna save him? When were they gonna be like, hey, Willie, we probably should go with this. We probably should go with this route. But because you can see that this clearly was a Willie decision because Willie's an old school cat. You can tell he's gonna go with veterans because he believes the way he plays the basketball game, veterans play better in big games on the road than a rookie would. But he, as you can see, there's no beeping sound. That's
nice.
We're not even gonna talk about that.
You did that stuff? That was you?
Yeah, man. You know, I did it all myself. You know what I'm saying?
Look at that.
Like that.
But I'm saying, when were they gonna help him? When were they gonna step in and help Willie? And I think he got left out to dry, and he saved himself. Himself.
I agree. And Chaz, I'm gonna get to you here right, or I'm gonna go. Yeah, Chaz and Lito. You know, props. Listen. Willie Green fucked up there. He had a meltdown there in that 8-minute mark in the third quarter. Like, I'm gonna call a spade here. But props to him making the adjustment to get Trey Murphy in. And then Chaz, I want you to talk, and then I'm gonna get to Lito. I want you to talk about the confidence in Trey Murphy. I mean, Jesus Christ, you want to talk 5. You just said, I'm gonna pull that bit. Like, Trey Murphy was unconscious.
Yeah. Like, man, I think
I like this, Justin, man. I like this.
Yeah, everybody, the energy good. I've been a big proponent of, you've already seen what this person has to offer, right? So right now you're at the point where the unknown, it's like let's try it. Like, why you don't have a legitimate reason why you shouldn't try it. And the credit to Trey is like, he's always ready. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's it's a little understated, I think, because personally, I have my critiques for Willie. I think Willie has a very bright future, but I also think
Yeah.
It's evident that he's a Monty type coach. Like, you know what I'm saying? I think he needs a very strong support system, and I think that's going to continue to evolve as time moves forward. But I think the situation with Trey is like, Coach, he saved you several times already. He saved you against the Lakers. I think he saved. I don't remember if it was the Hawks or not, but it was another game. I was like, oh, he owed Trey Murphy big for this one. It's like he keeps saving some of these questionable decisions. And the thing that kind of is difficult for me to process is like, what was the
game plan going in there? But like, I don't mean to cut you off, Chaz, because how the fuck is Tony Snell in the game plan in the first place? Like, there's no chance in hell. Like, he's like number 12. Like, he's got to be the 12th guy coming off the bench.
Like, I just don't understand the logic in that. Like, oh, you know what we need right now? We getting wide open jumpers. We need people who can drive and kick right now. Put Tony Snell in.
I know
you haven't seen this man. You've benched this man because of his inability to perform. And he's like, yo, break glass in case of emergency obviously. You got like this don't make no sense. Like, but luck again, man. Trey Murphy, man, always ready. Came in, hit clutch shots, heard 2 clutch free throws at the end of that game, like a superstar.
Yeah,
like a superstar. Man.
And that was after, and those Herb 2 free throws was after, like, he saw B.I. miss, he saw Jonas miss, he saw Larry Nance miss.
CJ.
Yeah, like, and shit, CJ, yeah. Lito, go ahead, man.
Man, I think we got to give Ty Lue credit because somehow Ty Lue conned Willie into believing that Tony Snell was the answer. And I think that might be the mark of a good coach. Like, that's crazy. And then shout out to, like Five said, shout out to T Snell coming into the game. Hey, you miss 1,000% of the shots you don't take. Like, so, you know what I'm saying? You got to put something in the air. And
that's so true. He was so confident. Oh my God.
Fuck it. He's like, what do I have to lose? I got nothing.
I missed.
We losing already. It ain't really on me.
You know what I'm saying? Once they called his name and he was like, oh, me? Oh shit, man!
I thought it was a joke. I thought it was a mistake. I really thought Tony Snell was in the game as a mistake. But
yo, man, it's a damn shame, man. But one more thing, shout out to Tony Snell because the 0-0-0 games live on. Yeah, and like we ain't had one yet, and that was our first one. Like we needed that. Yo, man, Trey and his preparedness is the mark of a true professional player, especially like seeing that as a rookie. It's like, you know what I'm saying, something you can look forward to. It's a damn shame, man. I was yelling at the TV so much when I saw Tony Snell, and it's not Tony Snell's fault that, like, you know what I'm saying? It's not his fault. I just want you to know, T Snell, if you ever listen to this, it's not you. It's not you. It's me. I was just upset at Willie. You know what I'm saying? But Trey came in. He saved the game plan or the backup game plan.
He did. Like, once again, I felt like it was the Lakers thing again. But I mean, 5, Larry Nance, guy that just, when we got him and he had knee surgery, he was out for a while, whatever it was. I haven't really seen him play much, but I think Ross described him as a bigger, tougher, like Josh Hart. And like last night, I felt like that was like a perfectly Josh Hart game, especially without the dunks and shit. But like Larry Nance was all over the floor.
Man, that was a Chaz revenge game for Larry Nance.
It was.
He saw them tweets, bro. When he came, his first shot was the sky hook off the. I'm like,
that shit was fresh out the 80s. I like it.
Yo, it was butter. It was buckets from there. So
I had to add him.
I appreciate you understanding your mistake and him providing said evidence of being better than what you thought he was.
Right.
Wow.
This is my only thing. The Timberwolves played Timberwolves Clippers played 2 days before, and their big run came when they got Cat off the floor and Zubac went to the bench and they played small. So you already saw evidence of when things them making big runs with a small lineup. So if they were able to play Jonas off the floor, you should have had a plan for said incident because it already happened 2 days before.
Right.
My mind is boggled because it looked like we didn't have a plan. And again, this is not an indictment on anyone, but I'm saying it looked like we didn't have a plan. And Willie said, even in the post-game presser, we were throwing darts at the board to try to figure out what would work. You should have known what would work already. You've seen evidence. Play smaller. Like you got Larry Nance. You had Trey Murphy. You knew this already. You knew the answers to the test. You've seen the test already. Play smaller. You played this Clippers team without PG. You had the first game of the season. Jonas played Zubac off the floor. You knew what was going to happen.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's a good point.
I'm just saying, like, the evidence is right in front of you. You already took the test like 4 times this season. I don't know.
I mean, Lito, are we gonna see more of those lineups with Nance at the 5 and Trey at the 4, 3, whatever, and you switch him and BI?
First off, Larry Nance, what a great time to have a great game. Like, what a great time. Like, thank you, man. And I'm gonna get to you, Justin. I'm gonna get to that question, but to what Five said about having the answers to the test. Man, I'm watching the T-Wolves Memphis game today, and I'm seeing how they defending Cat, and I'm like, y'all just didn't see what they did to them like the other day. Like you take your big off, you put a small on them, frustrate them, and like they never made that. They never did that throughout the whole game, which was the reason of that game. Anyways, as far as this one, like, yeah, man, like you gotta play like that wasn't a Jax JV game. Like you can't.
Right. It was clear as day. Sorry.
Can't do both of those. No, you're good. No, you can't do both of those. Like you gotta pick one, man. You gotta go. Either I'm gonna give them JV, or I'm gonna give them. You know what I'm saying? Like we can't just like I understand how we want to play, but in order to continue being a good coach, you have to, or a good team, you have to make the in-game adjustments.
Yeah, I mean, Chaz probably gets you. How many double W's things Larry Nance has had this year? 46 games played.
0.
Hit 0. That was his first double-double of the year. Chaz, that's it. Guy showed up last night.
When you watch the tape and you've seen the answer to the questions already, you can answer the question live on a podcast because I already knew the answer.
That's true, but listen, Chaz, Larry Nance was all over the damn floor last night. He should be playing more.
You know, aside from my Larry Nance tape post Spurs game, watching that game, I never felt so bad being vindicated. I've taken, I walked through the burning sands this entire season, right? Through the burning sands entire season, and I was like, yo, I'm telling you. It had to be like game 12. I was like, yo, man, this dude JV, I like him, but a competent coach is playing him off the floor. Like it's going to happen. It's inevitable. And the thing that kind of alarms me a little bit before I speak on Nance is like Five and Lito say, you have the answers to the test already, right? But my issue and that my fear with this entire thing is I've seen you have the answer to the test several times before. So if you come out tomorrow and play Tony Snell again, I wouldn't be surprised because this is everyone, I always say it's not about the result. The result is random. It's all about the process. It's all about respecting the process, right? Sometimes just because we won that game, yeah, you made the right adjustment, but you could have avoided being in that position once you saw their adjustment. You didn't have to wait until things have, the dominoes fall. But, because we won, some people are going to look past a few things. So I hope that those corrections, I just hope that there's a watershed moment and those corrections get realized.
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
No. I was going to ask, actually, I have a question for you, Chaz. So I know, everybody, Willie's a rookie head coach, and, I know we talk about the internet. I see what you say about him. Everybody knows who you are. You don't have to. You're our brother. You know what I'm saying? But we know what you say. My question to you is: do you think these are like rookie head coaching jitters, or is this something you feel confident in, like long term?
What I'll say. I actually don't think they're rookie head coach jitters. I think they're philosophy flaws. And the reason I say that is because, again, that's why he mirrors Monty so much to me, because Monty made some of the same philosophy, same religious background. Like, it's mind blowing how similar these guys are. And they happen to be really good friends. So that's why I think, his support system as a coach, because he got a lot on his plate. He inherited a difficult situation, superstar player out, following up a team where guys were actually considering not playing basketball anymore. That's a lot to inherit, and you had to remedy all of that in your first year. Like, that's crazy.
Can I jump in here? I mean, Chaz, let me cut you off. I want to jump in here because I don't want to forget it, because me and Five literally just had this conversation, right? And so Willie Green's coaching tree, if you think about it, he was in Golden State. I don't know did he start in Golden State or no?
Yeah, he started in Golden State.
Yeah, he started in Kersey. Yeah, all right. So Golden State, those runs had a guy like Andre Iguodala coming off the bench, a big veteran, right? Phoenix last year, like as you say, like they've had like even Cameron Payne, who I know he went to China for a couple of years. Like, he's a veteran. Like they have like veteran leadership. So what I'm thinking is, why did he stick with Garrett Temple so long this year? Why did he just randomly go to Tony Snell? Even Devontae Grant, like he was giving Devontae Grant minutes when Jose Alvarado got in it. And it's just more that I feel like he thinks these veterans, since they've been in the league for a while, can help out a young team. And that's not the case necessarily. I mean, we could have all said Kyra Lewis. I would have seen Kyra play last year over Eric Bledsoe, but Van Gundy stuck with Eric Bledsoe. And then you saw him stick with Garrett. And then you saw Willie Green stick with Garrett Temple this year. Until finally, I think everyone was like, yo, this is pretty bad. But I mean, I don't know, Five, like, it's got to be a trust issue. I mean, that's got to be it.
From my point of view, Willie will be third in Coach of the Year, third in the Coach of the Year award. He'll be third, and this is his first year. Yeah, I think he's done an amazing job.
Oh yeah, I think
absolutely. He's a wonderful coach. I think he is stamped. He's not going anywhere. This is his only flaw.
Yep,
is rotations like that, which can't be fixed, and it's slowly becoming that. It's slowly.
The assistant staff has a say in that as well, Five. I don't mean to cut you off.
No. Hey. I think he does a good job of shielding and deflecting and taking blame, even when he may not need to take blame. But which I'm cool with. Like, that's a servant leader. Like, he's not going to put anybody under the bus. He's not going to tell you what other people do wrong. He's just going to say, we did a bad job, or he did a bad job. And I'm cool with that. But we're talking about one thing that he does we think wrong is rotations. And it's about trust. And I think Chaz is right when he says it's the philosophy. Like, he trusts older guys. That's what he's seen. He's seen it work. Hey, I just think now it's like we don't live by those rules at this point. We can't live by, hey, this guy's been playing X amount of years or X amount of games, because it looked at a point in time where Tony Snell was shell-shocked in that game last night. Like, he didn't want to play in that game. And he's a veteran. He's played a couple years, 10+ years at this point. Like, Trey came in the game and it seemed like he'd been playing the whole game. Like,
he didn't touch the rim last night. Like, he was ridiculous.
Yeah, man. So
that was I agree. That's the only flaw. I mean, it's the only flaw, but like, does that mean he's a bad coach? No. Does that mean he can get better with that? I just think I completely agree. His rotations, and it almost cost him the game last night. The rotation with Tony Snell, we'll call it a spade was the wrong rotation. It clearly wasn't. He let it drag for 5 minutes, which was even more alarming. But you know what? Fuck it. We won. We're in the playoffs now. Even though I think we were already in the playoffs, I counted those games as playoff games.
Yeah.
So stupid. So, Chaz, I'll start with you. Go Lito, then 5. The Suns are. Listen, guys, Chaz, as you said earlier, I already put like this was a check mark of a season for the Pelicans. We got better. We got veterans. We have a first round pick. We saw success. Zion didn't even play. Chaz, what are your expectations going into Phoenix? And they're loaded. They're a 64-win team. They have Chris Paul. What is your actual like realistic expectation coming in?
I actually like some of the matchups, believe it or not. And with Chris Paul, you always have the injury factor. The only sad thing is for Brandon Ingram, you always have the injury factor. So, I think we can have some competitive games. I think we realistically can have 6 competitive games. I think it's going to come down. It's going to come down to the 3-point line. It's going to come down to the 3-point line and making free throws. Like, you know what I'm saying? Taking advantage when the refs when you feel like you're getting a fair whistle, you have to take advantage. So I think it's going to come down to that. Do I think he's going to do I think WG is going to be like tremendously outcoached? No. I also think this is a game where Jonas, you have to really know when to remove him from the situation. When they start getting into that pick and roll, it's time to go. Like it's time to put an answer in. You just have to do it. You know what I mean? And to me, I think this is could be good. You playing with house money at this point. You're playing with house money, and you're not at full strength still to this day. It's no longer an excuse because you haven't had them all season, but realistically you aren't. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just curious to see if there's going to be some panic from the coaching staff. I'm not too worried about the players necessarily. I think the players kind of are who they are. But I just want to see if we see a little bit of regression when it comes to, we saw what worked with them. Let's just try something they haven't seen before, but we also haven't seen it. So I just don't want to see that. But yeah, as far as I'm concerned, you playing with house money, man. Let's do it. Six solid games, whatever happens.
Lito, if you get 6 solid games, you happy?
I'm elated now.
Uh-oh. I gotta mute him. The audio fucked up again. Yeah, I think you gotta unplug and I gotta mute you, Lito. So I'm gonna go to 5 expectations if you get 6 games.
6 games, man. I'm happy with 4. I'm easily pleased here. I am happy with 4 games. I don't want to get swept, no. Right. But like Chad said, this is house money. Bro, just play loose. Enjoy this time. Play fast. Play up and down. Play calm, but play with some kind of confidence. Right. Like if we lose or if we get swept, as long as we play hard, man, I'm not tripping. I'm like, bro, again, we're missing Zion Williamson. That's negative 27 points every time you start the game. You start the game in a hole. You know what I'm saying? Imagine really going through that whole season. But again, we're in the playoffs. Man, this is good all around. Like game 3, I hope to pull up. You know what I'm saying? I hope Chad's gonna be there. Chad's gonna be there. I don't know where yet. Chad's gonna be there. You know what I'm saying? So
no, I agree. I think it was already a win before the Clippers game, even if win or loss. And we had some people already celebrate before the game even started, which was asinine. It was insane. But Lito, you like that? Yeah, I can hear you. You're a little bit better, but what's your expectations going into Phoenix?
I'm with Chaz. Like 6 games, I'm good. I'm good with 6 games. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm elated to where we are now. I'm happy with the result. Like once we got, you know what I'm saying, how the whole thing turned around. I mean, I think we have some favorable matchups in the game. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Phoenix is a very well coached. They have a very good roster. pretty skilled at a lot of different positions. I would like to take, so if we're going off Five's test, right? I like to say if we've seen the history of this, right? Put your best defender on Chris, man. Let you know what I'm saying? To take the head of the giant off him, man. You know what I'm saying?
The head of the snake off. Oh,
Really?
ooh.
That's
I
interesting.
like it. I like it, Lito.
Oh man, it's house money. What we got to lose?
I agree.
I
Lito's
kind of agree
God.
too.
Okay, that boy.
I'm just saying.
I like this Lito. It's like guy always forgot about the podcast. I wanted to talk about this, and Five, I want to talk to you first. Is I mentioned last time the recap. You know, there's a lot of people with this whole tanking thing when we were 1-12 and 3-16. I've always been against tanking, whether you have 1 win or 10 wins. I hate tanking. I just don't like it, because when you learn to win basketball games, especially for Brandon Ingram and Herb Jones and Trey Murphy and these younger guys, they're learning from this experience right now. Like the game in San Antonio, or the game against the Spurs, and then on the road against the Clippers, and fucking fouls going against you, and the crowd's against you, and you're down 10. Like Brandon Ingram and all those guys learned something last night, win or lose, and Willie Green. But I wanted to get to your thoughts on this, because they're going to learn whether they get swept or they win a game or 2 or 3. No matter what, they're going to take this series and into the offseason and be better from it.
I hate tanking. I really do. I don't really think you gain a lot from it, especially now that you're not really guaranteed a pick. You're not guaranteed it. You know what I'm saying? Like even when we got Zion, we weren't even supposed to get the number 1 pick. We weren't even supposed to be in the top 3.
Right.
So when you do that, you develop bad habits. Like you do organizationally as well, not just on the court, organizationally as well. I think we, as a team, like look at Phoenix. Even when you look at Phoenix before they went to the championship, man, they were winning basketball games. Yep. Even though they had a 0.02% chance of even making the play-in tournament, and they won all 8 games. And the next year they get to the finals. Like, I think those games propelled them to get to the finals the following year. And I know adding Chris helped a lot, but it doesn't guarantee you the finals trip. He had never been there either.
Right.
The Grizzlies, year before, I think now is a testament of what they did prior to them going to the playoffs. Well, going to the play-in tournament. Did they get they made the playoffs. They beat the Warriors or something like that, I think. The first play-in game. Yeah, they lost, but those games help you propel you for the next season. So, I hate tanking. Never mention tanking around me. I don't really think it's worth it.
I mean, Chaz, I think Brandon Ingram last night, right? You saw that 3 different defenders are guarding him. They're bumping him off his spot. They're being aggressive as shit with him. That dude rose to another level last night that I don't think I've ever seen from him.
So definitely. I think even with tanking, it's really about context with me, because it's like you don't have to actively tank sometimes. Sometimes you just suck. You know what I'm saying? And to be real, it's like sometimes you could play just how you play, and you suck. And so things will happen, organically. But I also think when you look at certain teams, like with this team specifically, I was saying the tanking thing too. I was never really on board with that. Not only are you not guaranteed a top pick, you haven't proven now you have, but you haven't really proven yourself prior to this year to be able to evaluate talent, even if you got the pick. Thirdly, you won't be able to properly evaluate your team, because you can say to yourself, oh, well, we was tanked. We weren't really trying. So, we probably still would be a good team. But like, no, you need to know what happens when you try to win and you lose. That's how you will be able to decide this guy isn't good. You know what I'm saying? This guy doesn't fit. This not going to work. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of tanking. It's a culture of a poisonous organization. Like, look at the Kings. The Kings don't actively tank; they just suck, and they have tons of talent. Like I would say at one point they would be more talented team than us. Like before we got CJ. As far as his overall team talent, but they just suck. So you don't have to tank all the time. It'll happen organically.
Lito, playoff series, Brandon Ingram's gonna be in there. But you see guys like JV and CJ be calm. I know CJ had a bad game last night, but and so did JV. But Brandon, especially Lito, is going to be learning from this because every year you hear those guys that fall short, right? Like the Devin Bookers of the world, and even the Kobe's back then.
Yeah.
They're like, the playoffs taught me, like, I need to add this to my bag, or I need to take this. Now Brandon Ingram is going to get at least 4 games against one of the best teams this league's seen in a while.
I listened to Jaren Jackson give an interview yesterday about how they lost in the playoffs last year, but like going getting the experience, how it fueled them the whole summer, and like they worked out, like they wanted this moment again, and they took a leap. The whole team took a leap, right? And I think when you look at our team and BI finally getting that experience, that opportunity, and he does have veterans in CJ and Jonas to help him, overcome those moments. I think Brandon's gonna keep leaping. He's gonna take another leap as far as skill, but I think the guy who honestly might take the biggest leap. I'm praying that Zion is looking at this, seeing he hasn't been a part of the journey really. Like with the team. I mean, he's on the team, but like not being in the trenches with him. And I think like this is affecting him to the point where he's like, man, what I'm saying? I can't wait to be back. I can't wait to be healthy and be able to be out there with my guys. You know what I'm saying? Because fuck, man, we top 3. We literally will be a top three seed.
5. You gotta think Zion's watching. I'm glad you brought that up, Lito, because I talked about it with Ross last night. You gotta think like, fuck, this looks like fun. I want to join.
Man, I should have woke up this morning and saw a video of Zion running in the Crescent City run this morning. I should have saw it. I should have saw it. Like you gotta literally show me that that's what you want, bro. Like that's how you can change the whole narrative, bro. It's not a dunk video. That doesn't get you in shape. Nah, bro. Show me something that you working. You better have a hazmat suit on, the big trash bag, and running, or like show me something. Cause the dunks, that's cool, but that doesn't tell me that you in shape. That's like, bro, we've been seeing you dunk on little white kids since you was a 14-year-old. Like, we know what that is.
Wait. 5, are you saying you're not impressed with a dunker dunking?
Man, you know what I mean? The dudes I know from Hammond that can do that. Well, not necessarily like that, but like, come on,
boy,
I've said this for a while, Chaz. I don't want to talk about the report about whatever it was, like they're disagreeing. Clearly the Pelicans have the advantage here. I know that Zion's dad has gone on these rants and he's ready to play and all this stuff. But Chaz, to Five's point, like, you dunked the ball. That's great. What else have you done?
I might be in a minority here, but personally, I don't trust neither party's medical staff to make the right decisions as it pertains to this situation or any situation. Because I've been pretty vocal about not just with Zion, but it kind of started with him, how this medical staff set certain benchmarks and how they may handle situations. I think with Zion, I think he's motivated. I think that dude could just step out of bed and give you 30 points at 60%. And it's crazy. Do I think that's some extra motivation? Yeah. And money's a major motivator as well. That's probably the ultimate motivator, if not legacy. One thing I don't want to discount from this, because sometimes we say, we don't know, maybe he doesn't love playing basketball. Maybe you kind of got to give him some credit and say, well, maybe he does love playing basketball. Maybe this is something he's like, I'm really thirsting to be out there. I want to be out there. So, of course, there's going to be some disagreement, you know what I'm saying? Because there's a lot at stake for this dude, you know what I'm saying? Because when you see that camera pan to him doing these national games, everything they're saying isn't complimentary. It's probably the first time in his life he's ever really dealt with this, and it's been going on consistently for months. And to me, to be honest, visually looking at him, I think he's still a little way away. Like, just looking at him, like, you don't look like you're in the ideal shape. Now I know you can probably still go out there and dominate anyway, like for just not at your peak level, but you still be a dominant force to a degree. You still don't look ready, bro. Just this one right here, just chalk it up, charge it to the game, come back ready next year, and you could be like something we never seen before. Just you gotta bite the bullet.
Yeah, I mean, listen, this team with Zion Williamson is incredible. Like they're a top 3-4 team. No doubt about it. Like it's not an over exaggeration, but kind of want to touch that, Chaz. What you just said is that people think like Zion's coming back in the play. He hasn't gone through a 5-on-5 practice yet. He hasn't gone through a scheme, an offensive scheme, a game. Like people think that like guys, like he's never played with Herb Jones before. Like he's never played under a second leader, as you said. He's never played under a second under Willie Green. Like you can't just throw somebody in there, even though he probably would still drop 20 points in like 10 minutes. Absolutely. But Lito, you gotta think Zion's somewhat impressed with this, right? Like I know like they might be in disagreement of the injury.
Yeah.
Like this has to be somewhat impressive.
If he's not impressed, he's blind.
Go ahead.
If he's not impressed, he's blind. Like if he's seeing the dysfunction that he came under and is looking at what's in front of him, he's blind. You know what I'm saying? This is a complete 180 of an organization from the time Zion got here to now. Like the philosophies are different. The environment is different. Everything about the team is different. And then CJ brought so much legitimacy to us as far as like just being in our building. You know what I'm saying? Like he didn't have a great game yesterday, but still the fact that like BI gets doubled on the gets doubled at the 3-point line, like he has an outlet, kick it to who at any point, man, he could give you 30 or he could give you whatever, 40. I mean, he can distribute the ball. Zion's got to be looking at that and saying, damn, the only thing they're missing is me.
It really is. I mean, go 5.
I'm going to just say this. Brandon Ingram scored 30 points in a winner-take-all basketball game.
And 27 before that, right?
And then 27
in like 29 minutes.
Let's talk about this young man as if like he is, I think, taking off. Like he's efficient. Like he came out the first quarter and it was like, I got it on my mind. You could send 2, it don't matter. I'm escape dribble, it's pull up mid range. I'm cutting up regardless. It didn't matter. He bring it. You can even put it like this. If he had a healthy Zion this season, he would have been doing this. You could literally say the same. Just having a second person that can not even facilitate. He didn't need CJ to facilitate. He never needed that. He just needed somebody he can give the ball to so he can get it back.
Right.
He just hasn't had that. And there's some games Jonas had that, okay, yeah, you can see that, but it could have been just Zion. Point Zion. That's what we were supposed to have. And now you see him just take off. Like he's commanding his team. Like he's been leading since the summer. Like this is his. And he got this team from the mud to a playoff series. Yeah. He did it not on his own, but he just led it. And I think we need to give more credit to that than, we're just one piece away. Man, look, you should have been that piece from the get-go.
Yeah.
You should have been that.
Real quick.
Yeah.
As far as Zion and observing the team, I think one of the biggest factors, like y'all both spoke on, was, and I might be butchering this saying, but you're no longer greater than the sum of this team's parts. Now there's a real argument to be made if you're the best player on the team. So now that's a real tangible art, because availability is the best skill set. You know what I'm saying? So and these guys got playoff experience now. You don't. You know what I'm saying? This is what have you done for me lately type situation. So now that you got to think there's a lot of humble pie being eaten. You know what I'm saying? In an ideal situation, because we don't really know Zion's thoughts because he doesn't necessarily speak for himself at this point.
Yeah.
But so you never really know. When I see the dude though, he looks engaged. He always looks like fully involved, and he looks like, yo, I'm cool here. They may not be everyone's attitude, surrounding the situation, but we're no longer at the mercy of that party. And I think they recognize that because them attitudes was a little bit different on that radio interview. Them attitudes sounded like, oh, I'm so happy to be here. We gonna go ahead and do, what we gotta do. It was just very they got a little act right. They got a little act right. Because you got some big dogs now too. So you gotta it ain't gonna be, oh, I'm the big man on campus no more. It's like, hold up, we might have to we putting at least at minimum 2 people on this billboard. And you could be the third one if you cool, but at least 2 people will be on this billboard moving forward.
Five, go ahead. Or
I'll go after you, bro. Go ahead.
I just wanted to say, man, I appreciate Five for bringing up. I know we were talking about Zion, but I do appreciate Five for bringing up Brandon Ingram because we didn't get a chance to really talk about him. And to be fair, Zion isn't playing, so we really don't have anything to discuss as far as Zion wise. The thing about Brandon is, like, pressure make diamonds. Like, Brandon has been in these circumstances where he hasn't had to be the best player on the team without Zion. He's experienced life without Zion. Zion has not experienced life without Brandon, right? And I think that he hasn't had to put that on his shoulders. Like, Brandon has had to wear that shit. He's had to beat a guy. He's had to beat a guy to get boxing mud and double and triple team on the perimeter. And that's, you looking at the game and you looking at him play now, man, the shit is moving in slow motion because he's seen the worst of it. So he's only going to get better from there. And yeah, man, Brandon needs billboards. Fuck, I'll put a statue out there of him. Like, he needs to. And you know what? I gotta say this too, man, because it was a point last year or the years that Brandon's been here. Like, people were putting him like trade talks, trade rumors with Brandon and all that fucking shit.
Fletcher Mackle.
Like, we gonna treat him like Voldemort. We'll even say his name. Well, he shall not be mentioned. You know what I'm saying? But like, you gotta understand when you look at Brandon Ingram, you gotta understand what you're looking at. That man not regular. Y'all just ain't never seen that before.
Lito, I'm glad you said that because the one thing, guys, why he was put in these trade machines, right, is because he wasn't good in the clutch time, right? His numbers were weak in the clutch time. And I told people that I said, listen, man, if you want to trade a top 15 offensive player because of his clutch numbers at 23 years old, then like, you don't understand basketball. Because Five, you remember how we talked about it a lot. What has he gotten better at? What has he gotten better at over the season? He has gotten better at closing out games.
Easily. I think he's been efficient. I think he picks his spots very, very well. Mm-hmm. I think he gets off. Like, he'll pass the ball. Dang, that was a little iffy. He passes the ball and he'll get it back. And he'll pass the ball, he'll get it back, and he'll be able to make a play. Like, I think he's seeing things slowly, seeing them happen slowly, and he's taking advantage of it. I'm gonna say this one thing. I just want to close this Zion thing out. If you really want somebody's attention, show us the work. Show us the work. When you do a math test, the teacher asks you, you can give me the answer to the problem. But I need to see the work.
Right.
Because I know you don't. Yeah, you can score 27. But what did you do to get here? What did you prepare? Like what was it? So I don't want to see you touch a basketball. I want to see you running. I want to see you getting in shape. I want to see that. I want to see you healthy. Don't touch the basketball. Because I know you can do stuff with the basketball that no one else can. I know that already. Get yourself together. Brandon Xavier Ingram, he is the one, the chosen one. You know what I'm saying? He's failed in a clutch situation. He's carried this team, like Lito said. He's been the one to have to answer for Zion because Zion don't talk. He's had to do that. So let's praise this man for the work he's done. Let's ride behind him when he is flourishing in this, because I hope he is one of them we believe moments versus the Suns. I hope it's one of those moments where you can't hear me.
No,
No, you're
Oh,
good.
you just commit flagrant foul. Go ahead.
Yeah, pretty flagrant.
You was
don't say it again. We'll talk about it later. We'll talk about it later. Dang, man, I ain't even whatever, bro. But man, I think we'll have one of those moments, and Brandon will lead us to the promised land.
And I want to wrap it up on this, Chaz, because with 5, and I'm glad y'all brought him up because he should be celebrated. And I'm a big BI guy. Y'all followed me for a while now. Like, I love Brandon. He's my favorite player. He's an incredible talent. But I think, Chaz, the wholesome content, right? This is the last thing I wanted to talk about, was that hug between Griffin, who we've all given shit, and Brandon Ingram, who a lot of people given shit to. And to see that embracement, see that hug, man, that showed me a lot, dude. It really did.
I think we going, like, us on the outside looking in, or even some of us who may be privy to some information, is like, I think we kind of view things through the lens of the fans' perspective sometimes. Like, oh, well, we're unhappy, so these guys must be unhappy, the team must be unhappy. And that's not always the case, because they probably understand more of the tentacles at play. Like, they understand who's making, these said decisions. They know, like, oh, nah, that was his call. That was his call. This person talked to me. I signed off on that decision. So I have some, blame with that. And man, this season, I think even with Griff, and even like throughout his tenure, were there some mistakes? Yes. But certain things you really can't necessarily throw this guy under the bus with, because firstly, we don't necessarily know who made that decision. Secondly, in the context of certain situations, those decisions might have been necessary, but they just didn't work out right. And thirdly, you sign coaches and you draft players and you sign free agents for their ceiling. You know what I'm saying? You sign them for their ceiling. You understand that they may have a floor somewhere, but I think you go into every situation with an ideal goal, and that's not always the best practice. There's been a lot of luck involved in this season, but you can tell that this team, as a collective, you watch the pregame, you watch the postgame interview, you watch the interaction during the game, you watch how they cheer and root for each other. This is a very, very tight-knit group. This is like one of those teams, kind of like the Saints, when like you might see a guy get traded away and get waived, and he finds his way back to the team. Like, this is how tight-knit this group is. And I think if you're gonna give Griff the blame, you gotta give him the praise for coming to terms.
Right.
No, I'm glad you said that, Lito, because you talk about tight knit, and like these guys are, like, a lot of them are coming back next year, right? And so just moving forward, the embracement to see Brandon, right, the face of the franchise, and Brandon is not an emotional guy. He'll scream a little bit after like a game-winning shot or something like that, but he's very even keeled, things like that. To see him, just saying, fucking celebrating in the middle of the Clippers, court, and then coming off the court and then hugging David Griffin, like, and it wasn't just like a quick hug, right? It was like a long, like,
it was an embrace,
hugs, right? It was an embracement. Lito, that is a big thing, because Griffin, when he first got here, was like, I want to create a family culture. We never saw it with Gentry, obviously had the bubble. Then we never saw it with Stan Van Gundy. Lito, that moment last night.
You've never seen it with the prior coaches, because maybe Willie is a better guy to put that plan in action than them. Brandon Ingram and Griff in their tenure here have, honestly, they both been through a lot in different ends of the spectrum. So, BI's had to shoulder the team, and Griffith's had to shoulder the Zion blame, or he's had to shoulder the Steven Adams or the Eric Bledsoe blame. He's had different things that he's had to take on. I even at one point last year in the season, man, I think I added Griff. I called him a liar. You lied to us, like, you know what I'm saying? The vision you told us, like, that's not what you're doing. So I had to, Griff, if you probably never go hear this, but like, thank you. I appreciate that. Like, you you brought us. You somewhat delivered on your promise. We're a playoff team. Honestly, you know what? I'm gonna say you delivered because from how this season started to where we are now, like I did not think we would be here. Like
No.
You know what I'm saying? I did not think we would be here. Even when we started to win, I was just kind of like, you know what I'm saying? It's figured out.
Yeah, I mean, Chaz, we talked like you talked about it. Is a little bit of luck in 5 and let you close it out. Like he got lucky this year, but fuck, sometimes you gotta be lucky to be good, right?
Yeah.
5, the embracement, just the culture that's being built. We had talked about it. You know, just when someone's doing something bad, you call them out for doing something bad. When someone does something good, you give him his flowers. David Griffin, he's been really good this year.
I hope y'all can hear me. My AirPods died.
You're good.
All right, bet. The embrace between him and Brandon, I think it's a I'm gonna say culmination, because that's not a pause moment, Justin. Chill. I just want you to know. All right. I just had to let him know.
Oh.
So you ever like, it's like the enemy of my enemy is my friend.
Mhm.
I'm not saying that the other person is the enemy, but you ever like been blamed for something that someone else did, and the other person like you have been blamed for the same person? Y'all like, man, I keep catching slack because of this man. Like y'all collectively have, that's y'all like commonality. And I think between him and Griff, that's the commonality. And that's where you saw the embrace, because they've been, you know, been trashed because of something that they didn't even have no control over. You know, I think Griff was low-key blindsided about even Zion's injury at the beginning of the season. They had to make a promise, and he took more to blame than Zion did. And it was, you know, it really wasn't until CJ McCollum came that people started looking at Brandon differently, finally. Like, and I think they both see the vision at this point. I think they collectively see the vision, and they probably had like moments where they were, you know, butting heads.
Yeah.
You know, of course they probably Brandon's seen multiple head coaches too, but we never really hear about that. It's always Zion seen multiple head. This is his 3rd head coach. Well, Brandon's probably had like 5 head coaches in his career.
Yeah,
you know?
at minimum.
Yeah, you know, but no one's talking about that because, you know, somebody else. Like Brandon's been in the gym. He's been trying to push. He's trying to get through. He's trying to get through injury. He's playing injured. You know, like I think that's what you see, because I think Griff respects that. I think Griff respects the work, and I think Brandon understands what Griff wants to do. He probably respects him even more for bringing him CJ McCollum, like bringing him some help. So I think that's what you saw. I think that was the like, all right, we on the same page. You got me to the playoffs. I appreciate it. You brought me some help. I appreciate it. That's what we saw.
That's just, that's the perfect way to end at 5. I'm glad you said that. But before we log off, predictions, Lito, go ahead. Series score.
Fuck, man. Suns in 6, but
Suns in 6. Wow.
Suns in 6. I'm saying I think that's fair. I feel like honestly, I know, you know, the Suns are the favorite, but I feel like we might could catch them slipping. Like, I don't really think they understand like how good we are now. And I know we beat them, you know what I'm saying, without Chris, but I think even Chris might have to take a step back while we're playing and be like, you know, like he might look at the scoreboard and we could be up 20 at some point. I'm just saying, like, it could happen. Like these basketball is a game of runs. So, you know, we might get a run and I feel like this. Go in there tomorrow, steal that game, fuck what happened after. You know what I'm saying? As long as you can extend the series in some kind of way, you play house money.
2009, 2010, Willie Green and the Chris Paul led Hornets stole that for game 1 in Los Angeles when they were big favorites. So I forget what year that was, but Willie Green and CP, the only year they played together. Chaz, prediction.
You know, I'm going to go out on a limb, man. I'm going to say Pels in 7.
Jeez.
And the reason I'm going to say that is because, firstly, we've seen so many improbable things happen this season. Secondly, because the 2 games we played them when they did have Chris Paul this season One, we led by 20 until Jonas Valanciunas knocked Herb Jones out with a concussion, right? And there was another game that was really close where Bismack Biyombo just looked like the guy.
Yeah.
Y'all don't remember when they said you should take Biyombo over Anthony Davis. This was a real discussion that was going on. Like, oh, you want to start a franchise, get Biyombo. So, and we didn't have Nance then. We didn't have CJ neither. So I'm going to say Pels in 7.
That's crazy. 5.
I'm going to say Pels in 7.
Wait, Chaz, you know what's crazy about that? Michael Jordan ended up drafting him.
Yeah. Dude, crazy. There's irony everywhere.
5 go.
That's wild. I was gonna go with the combination of if they don't beat us in 6, we winning in 7. I know that sounds crazy, but if they don't beat us in 6, we winning in 7. I think we can give them a run for their money, man. I think that the matchup is pretty even. If we can be more tactical, and I know Chaz is against anything tactical that this coaching staff does. I said against anything tactical. I said tactical. That is not flagrant, bro. Like, what
You good.
I ain't say nothing.
it's just
Bring Chaz on the show just goes fucking off the rails. Go ahead, 5.
Yeah. I think we can match up very, very well against this team. They play consistently. They play smart. But I think we have a little bit more athleticism. I think if we have some big, like young players, a Jack's game where it's like he hits a couple threes and he dunks somebody, and it's a home game. And game 3 is going to tell me everything I need to know. I think it's going to be a crazy atmosphere. Something that I think will exceed what they saw in the playing game. I think it will exceed that. It's going to be insane. I think the prodigal son is coming. Like this is Paul. Like, this is the prodigal son. This is Monty, the prodigal father. And then, honestly, really, the prodigal son is Monty. Just didn't know. We just didn't know.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of different. There's a lot of different storylines. It's good, bro.
All right. I think I'm going Suns in 6, but Pelicans will win 1 on the road. I don't know. I think it's either 1. I think it's either be 1 or 5.
If they win 5, that shit gonna get scary.
No, they're gonna steal a game on the road. It's either 1 or 5. But I think that the Suns are just loaded, man. So Suns in 6. But listen, the Pelicans are going to be competitive throughout the series. I don't think there's more. I don't see them getting blown out by like 20 points. I see everything being, from 12 points on. So, man, Chaz, 5, Lito, happy Easter. Hope y'all have a great, Sunday with y'all's families. Yeah. And we play Sunday night at 8:30. Dude, late night games going to be brutal, man. We got 8:30, 8, and then back in New Orleans Friday and Sunday at 8, right?
Yeah.
That's the Blenders will be fun. Chaz, you're coming in Friday?
I'll be in there Friday. I will be there. I got my ticket. Plane tickets all set up. I'm there.
Lito and 5. We were trying to talk about someone. The owner goes, "You doing the live show on Friday?" I was like, "Oh man."
Yeah, I thought about that. I was like, "What we going?" I wonder if they're gonna do something Friday.
Rusty Nail wants us back. We could get some Knob Creek again. So just drink it on the house, right? So 5, Chaz, Lito signing off. Y'all have a good Easter. Go Pels. See y'all later.
Peace.
Peace.